Hey guys, this is Michael Cheat, and this is the third video for Free Fallin' by John Mayer. This is the John Mayer cover of Free Fallin'. And what I was just playing there is basically what I use during almost the entire song. Anytime you're kind of hearing all the finger picking during the song, and this is during the chorus and the verse of the song, this is what I use. Now there's a trio of guitar players up there, and so some of the notes we're not worrying about because we can't play everything that three guys can play all by ourselves. So we're basically sticking to this one pattern here that'll keep it simple, and it'll work all the way through the song. And you're going to use the same chords when he starts strumming a little more, but during the finger picking, you're just going to use these chords and pick this certain pattern that I'm going to show you. Now, the three chords that you're going to need for this are D, G, and A. Now, I do use certain forms of these chords. The D is a typical D. You know, going through it real fast, you're going to have second fret on the E string. Remember, I'm calling the second fret because my capo is here in the third fret, so that would be open, and then the next one up would be first, and then second, third, fourth. That's why I'm calling these frets by those numbers. Okay, so second fret on the E string, third fret on the B string, second fret on the G string. Now, for the D that you normally play, your bass note would be on the A string or the D string, but for this one we're going to put an F sharp at the bottom, so our thumb's going to wrap around to the second fret of this thick E string. Okay, and we've used this in other parts of the song, but this is going to be our chord. Okay, and now the G that we're going to use. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just start with that, and I'll show you the picking pattern, and then we'll worry about the G chord when we get to it. So let me get a better angle here. Alright, now what you do on this D chord is your thumb's going to go on the E string, the thick one. There we go. Your thumb's going to go on the thick E string, and then you're going to take your first finger, put it on the D string. Your middle finger is going to go on the G string. And your third finger is going to go on the B string. Okay? So thumb, first finger, middle finger, third finger. Okay? Those are the notes you're going to play, those four notes. And to start it off with, you're just going to pluck them all at once. Okay? So pluck it once, and then play the D string, then the G string, and then the B string. So it's going to sound like that. Okay, that's my right hand. Okay. Now that's what you do on the D chord. After that, you're going to switch to the G chord. And what I'm typically doing on this G chord, I don't need all my notes yet, all my strings, so I'm just putting down what fingers I need to. So for instance, on this G chord, I leave my third finger on the third fret of the B string, playing that note, and I put my middle finger on the third fret of this thick E string. Okay, those are the only notes I actually hold down with my left hand. So third fret on the E string, third fret on the B string. Okay, and what I do here is I keep my right hand on the same strings. So I've got my thumb on the thick E string, and then I've got D, G, and B with these other fingers. Okay? And what I do, as soon as I switch to that G chord, I go ahead and pluck all of those strings, all four strings. Okay? So coming into it from the D, it's going to sound like this. Okay? And then after you play the G chord like that, just follow along. You're going to pluck the D string then with your first finger, and then you're going to pluck the G string with your middle finger, then you're going to pluck the B string with your third finger. Okay, so then you're going to pluck that whole G chord again, all four notes. So okay, and then you do the same thing pretty much. You go D string with your first finger, G string with your middle finger, and then pluck the whole chord again. Okay? Now that's everything for that G chord. So the G chord you stay on for a while. Altogether that G chord is going to sound like this. Okay? So G chord, and then D string, G string, B string, G chord, D string, G string, B string. Or I'm sorry, on that one. Yeah, the one difference is I just noticed looking at my tabs here, and I played it right for you, but I didn't point out this difference is on the G chord you've got your G chord, then you play D string, and then B string. I'm sorry, D string, then G string, and then B string. Then pluck the chord again. But now you're just going to play D string, then G string. But instead of playing the B string right there, you go ahead and play the whole chord again. Now that's the way I played it, but I just needed to point out that difference. So the G chord sounds like this. Okay? So far we're about halfway through it. We've got the D chord, and then the G chord, and now we're going to go to the D chord again. You're going to hold that D chord down the same way. So pull your fingers back, put your thumb on the E string again for that bottom note, and then pluck the whole thing. And that's it. You're just plucking the E string, D, G, and B string. Okay? And then you switch to the A chord. And what that is I'm just like before in this song, I'm using my first finger to go across in the second fret of the D string, the G string, and the B string. Okay? And I've got the A string open. So my thumb goes on that one, and my first, second, and third finger go on those other strings. And I just pluck the whole A chord. Okay? So coming from that D, you just go. And then you take your first finger and play the D string. Your middle finger plays the G string. And then what's going to happen here is your third finger is going to play the B string. And when I play this B string, my middle finger is going to hammer on the third fret of that B string. Like that. So then I play the G string again with my middle finger, and then the D string with my first finger. And then you actually have about zero time to get back to the beginning of it, to your D chord, because you're going to start that chord progression over again. Okay? So all together, playing it slow, it's going to kind of look like this. That was 2 times through right there. You will notice probably when I'm playing it, once I go to that A chord, I pause for just a second and then go through those single notes. Okay? So it's like okay? And then played full speed, it's going to sound like this. Okay, that was a few or maybe 4 times through. That's the verse. If you can use that all the way through the song, that'll be fine. He actually does start strumming the chords a little bit later in the song, though. And I'll make a different video for that one, but he uses the same chords. So practice this part hard, and the next video shouldn't be too bad for you. Okay? So I hope you enjoy the lesson.